Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sim Racing Alliance. We are here with Season 10 and Round 1. Boogity, let's go racing as the green flag jumps.
Looking maybe even full wide.
They're fanning out, there's a bit of contact. He's got the outside.
Side, that's a great move.
He's got plenty of speed in there, and he's being held up.
He's gonna have a better run. Yeah, it's gonna stick it on the outside.
Well, that's a late move. 296 Ferrari, though, finds a space.
He didn't have it.
We're on the way for SRA.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to SRA. Tonight we're at Suzuka. It's a cold morning here as the drivers populate the server, but I'm super excited for this race. Suzuka, a famous track for its curves. It's a historic track too, home of some of the greatest battles we've seen in Grand Prix racing, as well as tonight here, our Division 3 GT3 series. It should be an exciting one. I'm super looking forward to it. What do you guys think?
Yep, Suzuka is great fun. I think it's a great track to race on, and I'm betting it's a really great track to watch, and it's a great division to watch race.
And it's going to be a sunrise race as well, so just the backdrop of the track is going to be super beautiful. It is a super fun track, and I feel like a lot of drivers are just going to have fun just lapping the track more than racing, so yeah, I hope we see a lot of action today.
I'm sure we will. D3s always has the precedence of putting on a good show. And Suzuka being a driver's circuit, it'll really highlight some of these drivers that put in the time and practice to perfect the lines. It should put on a pretty good show here, especially with the changing conditions in the track. It's going to be a beautiful backdrop for tonight's race, and I'm excited for it.
Well, let's look at the map, and we'll get a look at the track too.
Let's do it.
Getting ready.
So we talked about it a little bit, but this S's Sector 1, it's pretty much the highlight of this track.
Right.
You get immediately out of the pits and straight into it with a fast flowing section.
Look at it on the track then, since this will be fun. We're gonna try something different. Whoop.
Nice backdrop of the morning sunrise. Drivers are getting lined up, but we'll go through. This is a long front stretch. One of your main passing opportunities. You can get a nice big toe onto the driver in front, and if you can spot your braking point perfectly, you can sometimes even make it move around the outside. Some pretty infamous moves have been done here, but watch out for the track limits on the outside curbing. It's slippery out there, especially in the conditions we have this morning here with the fast track. Easy to pick up a track cut there, or at least go wide and nullify any progress you have. As you're coming through this little straight shot into the beginning of the S's, you want to clip the curb just on the inside there, set you up perfectly for the second part, turn 3 of this S. And then it's just a rhythm section. Not a whole lot of maneuvers. It's kind of, if you've ever done any autocross, kind of like a slalom, where you don't really want to gain time in a slalom. You want to maintain the same pace. There's a few little braking markers here and there to set the car up, but for the most part, you're just want to flow through smoothly, not trying to pick up too much wheel spin and too much oversteer. That'll set you up here for the Dunlap curve. You have to be really patient on the throttle as you go through here. Really easy to pick up oversteer if you're a bit too quick on the throttle, and that'll send you off into the sand pit. That's not where you want to be. This is a pretty much flat out once you get on the power until you get to the first Degner curve. Braking markers just to that 100 meter braking marker, 50 meter braking marker there, just right before it. You want to monster over the curve. As you can see, the racing line pretty much coats that first curve in rubber. Don't go too wide. That'll pick you up a track cut too. Here for Degna 2, clip that apex and then just ride the curb on the exit here. Pretty much the whole way, really easy to, underneath the bridge, and really easy to pick up a track cut here. A little straight shot. If you get a good run through the Degner curves, you can usually make or position your car in a way to set up a move for the chicane, as we see these drivers out on their out laps here for the first quali session. This hairpin, it's super slow. You're down to first gear. It's a really big traction zone. You want to get the power down early, which will take you onto this fast sweeping right-hander. pretty much flat out in these cars, if they're trimmed out with good enough downforce. You want to make sure to avoid that curb on the inside there. Pretty much a kickflip ramp. Really easy to pick up some oversteer if you're not spotting that curb well. And then into the infamous spoon curve. It's a really sort of fast but flowy 2-part corner here. If you do it well enough, you can pretty much float the entire corner with one steering angle, but it's really hard to do, especially because that means you have to ride the curbs on the outside there, still brake on the curbs, and in these conditions, it's not easy to do. Another spot here where you're traction limited, you're just on the brink of tire adhesion as you're trying to put the pedal down, get the power on for the long stretch that is this back stretch. Really easy to pick up a track cut here on the exit of that corner too. If you're not careful, 3 cuts and you're out here, or 4 cuts and you're out, three warnings. But this long stretch will set you up for a pretty decent passing opportunity into 130R, the infamous corner, the left-hander. Not flat out here in GT3 cars. There's a little bit of a lift to set you up here, but you can ride the corners on the exit just a little bit, especially in quality trim. That'll set you up pretty well. Going down this little straight shot, this is one of your main passing opportunities, though. Into the Casio triangle, turn 16, 17, and 18. Get on the inside here. You want to monster over the curbs. Pretty much 4 wheels off the track. Not too much, though, because that's another track cut opportunity. And then most cars can take it where you straddle this second curb. Put the power down early enough. Ride the curbs on the exit. Down through the final corner. Back onto the front stretch. And that'll complete your full lap of Suzuka. God, look at that sunrise. Looks good. Ferris wheel looking nice out there with its LED light. These are perfect settings for a race. I'm excited for this one.
Well, it is called Land of the Rising Suns for a reason.
Very fitting. Yeah, actually, I didn't put that two together. Nicely done.
It seems like most of this track most of the overtaking zones reward bravery, because you're not just getting an easy move just by using slipstream or just tailing the car. You have to actually take a risk of actually sending it into corners, which could punish you super hard if you mess it up, like turn 1. It is so tricky to get that right and get it perfectly as well. Same with Spoon and same with 130R, which I feel like we'll see a lot of deaths in the race.
Yeah, it definitely benefits bravery around here, which is not easy to do. Spotting your braking marker if you're compromised by a driver on the inside or outside of you, not easy. And especially putting the power down in some of these traction zones, hard enough to do if you're doing hot laps, much less when you're battling with someone. Especially on worn tires. We do have a tire change, pit strategy here tonight, but even still, after about 15 minutes, those tires are screaming. They're asking for help, and if you're trying to get the most out of them, trying to get a move done, it's not easy. These first hot laps are coming in, though, and we see Rodriguez there with the immediate provisional pole with a 2:01.2. It's not a bad lap. It's a long lap around here, and that's one thing to note. These drivers early, towards the front of the track, you can typically get an extra lap if you're really good. If you set some really blistering out laps and first laps. It can be a sub 2-minute lap, which can set you up for a extra lap if you're lucky. And with these silver drivers going out in fast track conditions, that extra lap's going to be super beneficial. It should switch over with about 16 drivers driving here tonight, or in this first stint. It should set up for a optimum track switch at about the end of lap 3 for some of these front runners, so that extra lap will be huge. And if anyone can take advantage of it, it'll put you in a pretty good spot to get a top spot here. But some strategy that we saw last night in the races was just going out late, forfeiting that extra lap. You're only going to get 3 good chances at a fast lap, and you just delay your time to the very end. That can also get you your last lap on an optimum track. I think a few drivers are employing that here tonight. There's a big gap in between here and the leaders.
So, because I can't find it and my memory's really bad. Who was our silver division qualifying leader last week? Do you remember?
I think it was Rodriguez, if I remember right. He's our he's currently one of our top runners in the silver division, and obviously he's quick. So I believe it was him.
All right.
Well, I can pull it up right now, but when the track is optimum, we could see them very much in below 2-minute deads, and actually, I wouldn't be surprised to see 59s because some of the D3 times in the hot lap server is as fast as the fastest D2 time, so we will definitely see 59s once the track goes optimum.
Yeah, that's one thing to note. Our front runner in the time trial servers was Vasquez and his McLaren. Pretty quick as a silver D3 driver, posting up a 2-minute pretty much flat in the time trial server. Let's see if you can't replicate that here tonight. Currently, Rodriguez the closest to that with a 2-minute flat 0.5. It's looking pretty speedy still.
So the fastest driver last week at Imola was Andre Velasquez. Velasquez? Is that how I pronounce it?
Yeah.
But he was the fastest. He went third fastest overall last week.
So he was our fastest silver division leader last week.
Yeah, he was the fastest silver division leader,
Okay.
and last race leader, and last race winner and pole sitter got moved up to D2. So we might see a new change at the front of the pack this week.
That's right, Riviera. Pretty dominant performance there at Imola last week. It was good enough to move him up to D2, maybe begrudgingly because he was having his way with the D3 crowd. But that's the way it works. The first 2 weeks, or first 3 weeks, there's that opportunity if you outpace yourself and where you should be in division, they could bump you up or bump you down if it goes the other way. Riviera getting the short end of that stick, bump up to D2, but that does open the door up for some of our previous front runners that didn't quite have the pace for Riviera. Now have an opportunity to grab that win, which is huge.
And yeah, I know I said this last week, but I'm also gonna look at for who do you think is gonna come out on top today? Just before we get into that, because
I like David Funk. He was the winner of our first race there at Barcelona. He drives a Porsche. I'm a bit partial to the Porsche. It's a bit tough around here, but I believe in him. David Funk for the win.
Remember last week I was supporting the Lexuses. The Lexus is even strong in Suzuka than Imola, so I'll keep an eye on for Lexus, especially with Donovan Colton in P3 right now.
I like it. I like it. He's looking pretty speedy.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And also another car I think is going to be fast is the Ferrari. Ferrari 396 has always been dominant in Suzuka. It is the fastest car before the BOP, if I can remember, back in Season 8. So we should be seeing a lot of fast drivers in the 296 this race.
Yeah, that's a good point. The custom BOP here at SRA, I think, sort of favoring the McLaren this round here at Suzuka. We saw a lot of McLarens were super fast last night, so look to them also to have a good showing out here tonight. I mean, some of our fast guys, Vasquez there in the McLaren. He should have a pretty good chance. He's actually P2 right now and silver qualifying. Just 3/10 down from Rodriguez, but Rodriguez is in the pit, so he's already got his qualifying session done with a 2-minute 5. Wasn't able to improve after he set that quick lap. Colton coming across the line. He was up on his time, good enough for P2 right now, just off of provisional pole by 7/100ths of a second. That's pretty quick, especially for that Lexus. I love the BOP out here making some of these cars more competitive than they otherwise would be with the normal Assetto BOP applied.
Yeah, I wonder how fast Velasquez is going right now, because if anyone could take pole right now, it is definitely him.
He's only a little bit up, so I don't think he's going to get it at this point, because he would
McLaren
need
looks
to take
sketchy over the
3/10
curves.
and this little short bit. So I think he's just going to hold on. Oh, well, he was going to hold on to 3, and Mr. Guzman here just
bumps him right off the top there.
Ate it right
Cruising
off.
with the clutch lap there at the end, comes across the line for P3 overall. Yarin, he was up on his time. He'll go into P13. That'll pretty much do it for our silver division with Rodriguez, 2-minute 5. I think that's the first time we've seen that level of performance from Rodriguez, actually. So I thought it was Rodriguez last time, but it was Velasquez.
Alas.
So good showing out there for Rodriguez to get provisional pole.
Interestingly, even though he has pole, he does not have the fastest lap in any sector.
Just consistency all around.
Yes. Yeah. It's like usually you'll see the pole and they'll have the fastest lap, but it's kind of interesting. It's really spread around, like who's got each sector.
That's a testament to this track. It's tricky to put together a clean lap. You only have really 3 opportunities to do it, especially with the track evolving to optimum. It should now be at optimum, but for that first couple of laps for the silver division, it was at fast, and it's easy to put together maybe a good sector 1, but that could overcook your tires, and then that just leaves nothing left for the rest of the lap. But Rodriguez able to put a solid lap all together. Not great anywhere, but good enough for provisional pole there. A 2-minute 5 is pretty fast. I ain't gonna lie. That's not a bad time. I think that's a D2 time technically with the leaderboard metrics. So outpacing himself there.
Oh yeah,
as a D3 silver driver.
Fantastic time you got. No doubt about that.
Well, in the hot lap leaderboards, the fastest D3 time was only a little bit slower than the fastest D2 time, and it's faster than all other D2 times. So we will be seeing a lot of 59s here, especially from the likes of Andrew Rife, who is the fastest in the leaderboard.
Yeah, those Mustangs looking quick out there. Andrew Rife with the sub 2-minute time in the leaderboards. Rigatoni not too far behind him, and another Mustang. Look for them to have a pretty good showing out here.
Oh, I wonder if the Mustang actually is pretty strong around here then. Sounds like, at least for the D3, that our Mustang drivers are putting in some great times.
Yeah. Like to see Rife. He's out there doing pretty well this week, and he's had a tough couple of races so far this season. With pace like that, he should be on for a decent result. But we won't say anything too much beyond that. Don't want to curse anything around here. But I'd keep my eyes out on him.
Well, he's got that lovely blockbuster livery, so needs to have something good happen for him.
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't take his team name seriously like he did in Imola.
What's the team name again?
Gravel
the Gravel
Trap
Trap
Inspection
Inspection Crew. Yes, I see that. Yeah, we would. We don't want that to be.
And I feel like the Mustang is such a difficult car to drive around this track, especially have tricky traction zones like the exit off the hairpin and the exit off Spoon Curve, which is super difficult if your car doesn't get its rears loaded up enough. So the Mustang is going to be a tricky car, and it's one of those cars which I feel is going to be super rewarding to get it right.
And these drivers are getting it right as we see these first laps from the gold drivers come in. 4 out of the top 5 so far in the gold division are Mustangs, with David Funk in there with the Porsche, sort of dividing them in half.
Yep.
Rife already up to a 2-minute 7 on his hot lap, or his out lap there. Tires now up for temperature. As we see actually that Porsche in the AO Racing purple Rexy livery out there in the gravel. That's not where you want to be.
Nope.
The purple AO dinosaur livery is called Roxy.
Roxy, that's what it was, yeah. Looks pretty good out there, but hopefully they can keep it on track for the rest of it. I think as we just saw David Funk get extra close to the track limits there. I wonder if that's still a valid time. I think it is,
valid.
actually.
Yep. Looking valid.
It's not bad from him. That's exactly where you want to be. Speaking of where you want to be, Suave and the Mustang goes up to provisional pole. Already faster than Rodriguez there. Just by 2/100ths of a second, though. So there's nothing in it here in this D3 tonight. Only 3.5 minutes left to go.
Well, Rife the half a second up already, which would put him in P1 if he can hold on to that time.
He's coming out of the chicane. That was a pretty clean chicane. He's still up on his time.
6/10 up, so he will. Oh, my word.
It's
And
all popping off now. That'll go
Mr.
P2.
Kajdazovic took P1 just as we thought Rife was going to be taking it.
Wow, that's a quick time with the 2-minute .1. Just barely getting close to that 2-minute mark. Even Byron also, he in his Mustang, he went pretty quick there for P5.
I think these drivers still have more. We are definitely going to see 59s. They're not going to settle for 2 minutes up to a ones.
Yeah, they got time in it, I believe.
They're
And
trying.
If they just started their lap, they have 2 more laps. And the track, even if it's as optimum, it's not 100% optimum yet. So the track is also evolving, even if it's optimum.
Well, P1, 2, and 3 are all down on their laps, but they do, like you said, they have 1 more left in them, so it might be they're building space to the guy in front.
Yeah, it doesn't take much to distract you, and even having someone, sub 3 seconds ahead of you, that's not enough really to disturb the air, but it takes so much focus around here to set a decent lap that, you want to make sure you have a clear track ahead of you.
Yep, so it does look like maybe our P1 and P2 are kind of holding out, and maybe they'll try in the next lap to see if they can't get under that 2-minute marker.
Chris Whitting Jr. comes across the line. That'll put him up P9. That was a pretty fast time from him.
Ian got P7 coming in. Sullivan bumps up to P3 with a 2-minute .187.
Our top 3 only divided by less than 1/10 of a second right now.
Yep. Now all 3 are out on a new lap. They're all 3 flirting with some time here. They're all like flirting between the green and the red. Making time, not making time.
One person to keep an eye out on there is Panzer Rigatoni. Went up to P4 right there. He was second behind Rife in the time trial server. Found some pace there. With 1 lap to go, let's see if he can bump it up a little bit more.
That green Mustang livery looks super nice in the dawn of the day.
It's intimidating. I'd almost, want to pull over seeing something like that behind me with that cop theme livery. Obviously a reference to Super Troopers, so it looks good out there, and the Mustang fits it perfectly, that Intimidator style. Let's see it. That ends it for our qualifying session. Time has expired. All these drivers are now officially on their final out laps.
Trying to squeeze those last few tenths out.
And some drivers are, as we see Rife, he just hopped on board with him. He's 2 tenths up.
Yep.
With only 2 kind of segments of corners left, 130R and then the Casio triangle. Let's see what he can do here. Nails it through 130R. Is a bit wide on the curbs. Doesn't lose too much time. Actually gains some time.
Gains it, yep.
Spots his braking right perfectly. Just monsters over the curbs. Like they're not even there. That Mustang just soaks him up.
Went a bit wide into the entry there.
Got a little loose on the exit curb.
But
still's up.
Yeah, didn't get the best exit, so maybe he'll be able to get it. Yes.
Good enough for P1.
Pulls a 2-minute .080.
Still haven't seen a sub 2-minute mark yet.
No.
Panzer Rigatoni, he's out on his final lap. He goes up 2 tenths, and that'll move him up to P3. Clutch
Well-
moments there for Rigatoni, rounding out your top 3 there. Rife, as we saw though in the time trial servers, goes P1 there and follows it up with P1 for the race. That's pretty cool to
And
see.
just got flashbanged by the session hopping over.
Right.
Got so brighter.
We qualified at 4 a.m., so a bit early here in the Japanese morning. Race starts at 6 a.m. though, so not too much track evolution. The track is still fast conditions for these first couple laps for these drivers. It's gonna make it tricky out there, especially when you're mired back in traffic trying to find any spots for moves. Having just that much less grip compared to everyone else is not going to be easy.
Take
Nice
a little walk
livery's
through
looking
our
good.
grid.
Yeah, it's morning sunlight.
That Super Trooper livery is very, yeah.
Gotta say, these Mustangs are out in full force here today. Pretty much dominating the top 5 with the majority stake in it.
Oh, I didn't see
Lexus.
this one before. I'm sorry, but I'm a huge fan of this livery. I love the oh, now my brain's not gonna work, but I played this game. The Nier Automata game was great, and yeah, it's a very neat story. So that made me
Heck
get
yeah.
excited.
That's all you. I
Yeah.
don't know that one, but it looks good out there. That's for sure.
Hey, I had to do
It's
a little
not a
like
movie.
head turn there. No, it's not a
It's
movie
just-
though. That's true.
There is an anime adaptation, but so it's so far it's just mostly a game.
Yeah, the anime adaptation doesn't quite live up to the experience that they made the game story. But yes,
I guess we can excuse it. It's a great looking livery.
it is. They all are. They're really. Whoop. I'm not sure why my camera
Drivers
keeps
in
deciding
front
to go
hopping around.
underneath.
Look at
Yeah.
those God rays throughout the grandstands, though. Gosh, sometimes this game does look good.
Yes, it does. It really. The details that they put in. I was just kind of hopping around this track earlier, and there's actually side roads. You can go underneath the track, follow the whole road out to the parking lots and the race paddies. So they put a ton of detail into this game.
And it shows. Yeah, it looks good
And,
out there.
They just gotta shuffle around with the leader beating around.
Do we want to take a look at the standings while we have a long out lap for these drivers to
Yes.
get ready?
We do. What a fantastic idea. Yeah. That's a new kind of commentator's curse, you know. Uh, Absolutely. Well, Fair, we'll look at the teams quick before they finish out this outlap. You've got, for the team standings. Oh. Let's see. Put that on. There. So, for the team standings, Sith Lords are on top at the moment. There, followed by the M Sport Mavericks, only 47 points behind. GRR Task Force and Red Eye Racing. 5 is Fugazi Motorsports, and just behind them are the Disc Warriors. So it's early in the season. That could change by quite a lot. You got 2 drivers pulling in points.
Yeah, and the races, the tracks so far in this season have been a bit more dominant toward these high downforce cars. But D3 showing that it doesn't really, they're showing that the variety is still there with pretty much different cars all through the top 10 here in the team standings. Even a Bentley up there in P8, that's pretty quick out there for DJ Watts and Curtis Lee. I like to see that.
Well, let's gonna hop on back because they're gonna be starting this.
Yeah, that's a good point. We're just getting through the Casio Triangle. They're all lined up 2 by 2. I will pick a arbitrary car sort of towards the back here. See if we can't track any of this carnage. Lap 1, turn 1 is going to be difficult for these drivers as they all try to navigate the sector 1 side by side. Easy to get caught out, especially when you got someone on your inside and you can't really spot the apex, but we'll see how these drivers navigate their way around at the back of the grid, just getting lined up. Front of the grid's all ready and raring to go. Come across the front stretch, pit straight. Here we go across the stripe. And we're green flag off and away for SRA. Rife gets a great jump, but Kamal is not to be outdone outside of him. Doesn't decide to peek his nose. Rife will take that spot pretty fast, but it's all kicking off behind. Bit of bumping, bit of door banging happening, but it's all good. We're all still pointed straight. Andrew Rife already out to a commanding lead, asserting his dominance through Sector 1. That Mustang's pretty hooked up. Meanwhile, further back, we're still 2 by 2 as we see a Porsche off. I think that was David Funk. He's falling down the grid. He was one of our front runners up there, and it's not what you want to see.
You're going to be seeing a lot of 2 wides as drivers are still not going to give up positions, even if it's an hour-long race. You'll be seeing 2 wides all the way, or even 3 wides as we just saw in the PIP, all the way till the end of the first lap.
Because some people getting caught out. We see a bit of an accordion effect going into the hairpin. That's easy to do. Pretty much coming to a standstill. A little bit of bumping, but that's not too bad. They'll still keep it pointed in the same direction. It's one of the choke points here, especially on lap 1. There's with intervals this tight, it's bound to happen. They do well to keep it all in order, and Rife's happy that he's pretty well checked out from this this grouping. He's already got a second gap to the person in P2.
Yeah, he just took off, so he's looking to make this his race.
Looks like a lot of drivers are going super wide into 130R, which may not be that which may not actually give them warning, but given that this is the first lap, it is a bit risky.
There.
A bit of a Ferrari going wide. Manages to keep it out the wall, minimal damage. He'll lose some spots, but he's at least still alive, which is good enough for lap 1. That's not what you want, but at least he's still in the fight. It was Jeremy Yar in there. Drops down to P33.
The Ferrari 488, it is super sketchy over 130R. It is a car that loves to bottom out and just send you to the barrier, so trying to keep the car from not dying is going to be a challenge in itself.
Still seeing some 2x2 action going on through Sector 1. That's not easy to do. There's plenty of respect being given. These drivers are still 2x2. It's unbelievable racing through Sector 1. Actually, the Mustang's trying to poke his nose up there to make it 3 wide. Thinks better of it. Going through Degna 1, Degna 2. They're still 2x2. Goes a bit wide, the McLaren. That'll give him the spot, though. Hopefully no track cuts. He'll get the spot, though, and they go now single file into the hairpin. Porsches going side by side in the spoon quarter. Ask me how I know. It's not easy to keep a Porsche straight through these corners, especially on full fuel. Gets the power down, the one on the inside does, but that'll, I think that was Riggs maybe? Or no, I think that was Kevin Happyface was went a bit wide out of spoon. Yeah. That'll open the door for Riggs, who's on the outside now going into 130R. It's just a gaggle of Porsches here. There's 4 of them all in the picture here. They go almost too wide for the entry into 130R. Both Riggs and Happyface will go wide. Get it back on track though, and that'll open the door actually now to David Funk, who we know he has pace.
We just saw a Porsche get taken that into the entry of Casio Triangle.
Yeah, I
and
think
he's
that was
still backwards. That was Funk. A bad race gone worse for him.
I'll go look at that quick.
Just gets clipped by the Aston.
Gets double clipped and
for good measure.
Yeah. Yes.
That's tough.
What a shame. But it's
Thankfully,
early yet.
It's just 2.
Yep. And
if you're gonna have a problem, have it early. You know, still have a chance to recuperate. The strategy, obviously, this season with the mandatory fuel or mandatory tire change, no fuel, pretty much, you know, gets you locked into a pit at the halfway mark. So don't really have the opportunity to come in and fix damage and get your stop done early. But if you had enough damage, it might be worth it just to, you know, reset. And we know he's quick, so the undercut is strong here. Who knows? Still all the play for is. There's all sorts of gaggles. These Porsches are still going at it with the Lexus now in the mix. I think that was a Lexus falling back a few spots there.
Whoop.
Of Foster.
That was a little bit of sliding going on.
Yeah, gets into a bit of a half spin, manages to keep it pointed forward though.
I call that a controlled drift. That was perfected.
Yep.
That was pretty good.
And that was not controlled.
Oh, it's all manners of chaos.
Yeah.
The Aston Martin's backwards, and it's still popping off as we see a Ferrari off in the weeds.
What happens in there if we can, and...
Oh, I lost it.
Somebody tried to go to the inside on the hairpin turn, and it did not end well for a few of them, and...
It just gets pit. Oh, it's just
it
all
just
sorts of calamity.
From bad to worse. In the meantime, we've got a little battle up here between Colton and Guzman.
2x2 through the Casio Triangle. Mustang struggling to get the power down. The Lexus will take that position on the inside, but Mustang's got the power. He's going to stay in the tow. Super defensive.
Speed.
Yeah, that BOP diet it's been on, it's looking pretty good down the front stretch. But he has a compromised line into turn 1. That'll open the door for the Mustang on the inside. The Lexus off from the rubber, off from the marbles there on the outside. He'll lose that position and another one.
Watts capitalizes on that move and just goes past Colton. And Velasquez is also trying to get past him as they're going too wide into the S's. They're still going too wide.
That's well held, actually. That Lexus put the move on the McLaren, shuts the door. Velasquez does well not to get into the back of him, but that was close as it gets.
That was pretty respectful driving from both of them.
Bentley's got an almighty run going into Degnan. Does not opt to go for the move. Actually breaks a little bit early. Controlled. Still early days here in this race. That Velasquez Colton battle still popping off.
Let's see that. Oh, you've got that already too, huh?
Great minds think like, I'll hop back up front and see if there's any battles happening up front.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Looks like Logain is catching up on Sullivan up front.
Yeah, exactly. He's got a bit of a run going down the backstretch.
Yeah, but the slipstream isn't going to be enough to pass the Lexus in a straight line. Velasquez knows that he has to send it around the Casio triangle or try to capitalize or run out of 130R to get past Alexis.
McLaren's got the downforce to do it. It's all popping off here in the Casio triangle as we see the Mustang of Sullivan going wide with the BMW of Logain behind him. It's a bit using a bit of their speed coupon there with their track cuts, I think. Doesn't manage to lose any positions. It's an almighty train forming here.
That was an aggressive send from Maxwell, which he kept it clean in the Suzuka car.
Yes, he did. That your little front bunch from I guess P5 all the way back to P11 is quite a there's quite a bunch going on.
They are bumper to bumper.
Yeah.
It's the biggest and fastest traffic jam you'll ever see. There's no place to go through Sector 1 as everyone just barely manages to stay out of each other.
The average Tokyo traffic experience.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sutherland actually getting a move done on the Mustang there, Byron. There's still 2x2 the Mustangs.
They're all squeezed up.
Somehow managed to stay out of each other. I'm not even sure how that happened. That was unbelievable racing.
Look at this.
That's a send. He keeps it clean.
All this battling has sort of brought in this Lexus McLaren battle you were seeing as Byron loses another spot. He's fallen right down the order this lap.
It is tight. There's that little Yorha mobile that I love.
Going through Spoon Corner 2x2, that's tough. Byron's on the outside. The Lexus will get the move done, and Velasquez and the McLaren will say thank you very much. He'll try his hand at taking that position too. Lexus gets squirrely on the exit curbs of Spoon though. Byron's got the run, but nowhere to go. He got the McLaren to the inside and the Lexus in front. I think they're even a bit of bump drafting as we see the Porsche off in the grass of 130R. Yep, that'll happen. Just had no grip there on the outside line there. He'll fall right down the line. I think that was Maxwell, the Porsche.
A little wiggle there, and they've got
Byron going straight.
Line going on there. Just using a different track map.
Yeah, not paved over there. This isn't Barcelona. They haven't cut out the chicane just yet. Byron will lose that position after the rejoin.
I believe he's still going to get a warning even if he did rejoin in slow.
Yeah, it was pretty... I think that's a case for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. Oh, I was just watching the BMW trying to make a move on the Mustang, or the McLaren there of Andrew. Gets a bit loose going into the turn 1 complex there. Manages to get it back on track, but he'll lose another position going on from the attacker to the defender. Logain, actually, we're getting reports racing tonight with a helmet on, which when you're sort of mired back in traffic as he is, battling, to his heart's content, I'm sure that gets pretty hot. Yeah, that's a sweat fest to say the least.
Glasses sim racing, especially in these div, isn't sweaty enough. You just gotta make something that makes you sweat even more.
Unreal immersion, though, I'm sure. I've tried it once before thinking I was doing something. I'm not sure what he does for sound, though. I tried like Bluetooth sort of wireless earbud things, and the delay was too much to bear. I couldn't do it anywhere. And also, I don't know if it really helps your performance, especially if you got the lid down and everything. It's not what you want to do. Rodriguez up front. He's our current silver leader. Looks like got wide on the exit of Spoon. He'll lose 2 positions and another one going down the backstretch. So Sutherland takes that spot going into 130R.
Suave and Rigatoni changing spot.
Rigatoni, we knew he was quick from the time trials. Started P3, gets that move done. Then I'm up to P2 now, right behind Andrew Reif, where he was in the time trial server. Reif pulling out a 6-second lead already within the first 13 minutes.
So far has the fastest lap at about 201.047, so not too much going on. We'll give him a little bit of a look-see.
I wonder if he's going to get moved up to D2 next race.
Yeah, when you put on demanding performance this early on in the season, that's always an option. For his sake, I hope not.
Yeah, because the last couple of races weren't the best for him, so may not have been performance-wise enough to push into the next division just yet. But he's certainly on his way to get there sooner rather than later. Just maybe not after this. Let him enjoy this.
Looking on his onboard, he does look like he is pushing the car. Maybe he's trying to open the gap just to assert dominance over the rest of the field. But his car does look squarely out of the Degna 2 and Degna 1. He is working that car a lot.
Manages to still keep it smooth though. He lost a bit of time going through sector 2.
Like this car is going to be super planted going into 130R. And just takes the curves like an absolute champ. I am jealous of how much curves the Mustang can take. The last time I drove this track was in the Ferrari, and you just have to be super ginger. And you have to take those curves super gingerly.
Yeah, it's real easy to get a little sideways on those curbs. There's not a lot of grip on there, especially when you're riding them as much as you need to. Mustang, like it doesn't even exist. Just runs over the curbs. That Porsche, though, not too happy on the curbs as we see him go wide at the exit of 130R. That was Grush there in the Porsche with Robbie Tutty right behind him there in battle for P26.
Well, I'm still surprised we haven't seen anyone die over the bump in 130R, but also have to remember that this is a D3 and people probably aren't setting their cars up for death in this division.
Yeah, add a bit more margin into the setup, I would hope, and especially in D3 or something, it's more important to have a nice safe race than it is to get like the ultimate 10 tenths out of the car. If you can survive most of the death that happens around here, it sets you up for a pretty good result usually.
I just hope that Arjun didn't put out some commentator's curse just now.
Right.
With that.
Oh no.
Luckily, I don't see any Mercedes in the lobby tonight. Mercedes typically do not like some of these curbs around this track. So we might be safe from that here tonight.
Or even Lambos, because Lambos also struggle over those curbs. As we've probably seen in Season 8 and the endurance race we did last year.
Well, I think if I recall, the Lambo is actually very fast at Suzuka, and in Season 8 had a pretty heavy BOP on it.
Look at this line of cars we have. Right around that P12 mark. Just 5 or 6 of them lined up bumper to bumper going on the backstretch. It's probably even more than 5 to 6. It's a huge train forming here.
Absolutely. And as
Rodriguez, who is a bit of the cork in the bottle, comes down into the pit.
I think Rodriguez doesn't want to get stuck in traffic, so he is going for the undercuts. So is Velasquez. He also pitted.
It'll be quite the undercut pitting at the 43-minute mark, but the undercut is pretty strong here.
Yeah, as tire wear is also super high here. I've had races where my tire just disappears after 30 minutes. If the track is hot, which I don't think it is today, you're gonna see tires falling off in as soon as 15 minutes, especially in cars like the Mustang and the Porsche.
Yeah, that tracks 15 minutes is about as long as I could muster before I had to dial back a bit on the driving limits and dial up the TC. The tires pretty much just fall away for about 15. So, I mean, pitting at a decent time, Rodriguez and Velasquez is to get those first set of tires off, but now they have a long 45 minutes ahead of them. They want to see these tires out to the end of this race.
But on the flip side, they're not going to be driving in traffic, so they can actually focus on conserving tires while still maintaining their pace that would give them the overall advantage when these guys pit.
Yeah, I'd look to see Velasquez, see what he can do. Obviously, he's pretty quick. He was our silver pole. Now with a bit of open track, hopefully he can make his way back up the grid. Byron with a heck of a move on the inside of Spoon there. Speaking of, there's 3 of them pretty much with nothing in between them. The Porsche backs out of it red. That's a pretty smart move going 130 yard.
Yeah, the Porsche has nowhere to go. He was boxed in.
Byron deep on the brakes. Manages to get it low down in time. But
Mustang
that'll give
is...
Whitting Jr.
Byron goes into the pits. I don't expect the Mustangs to be committing undercuts, but here we are. As DJ Watts goes into Gusman and just loses it, but he keeps it on track.
Yeah, that was a tough maneuver. He had the inside line going into to turn 1. It's wide, but it's still hard to make a maneuver into turn 1. It kind of is deceiving because it's pretty much one track line through there as you go from one apex to the other.
Yeah, as I said in the start of the race, overtaking into turn 1, you have to be brave. You're on the limit of grips going into the corner.
Yeah, for sure.
If you are going to overtake someone into turn 1, it would be best if you go too wide with them or have the slight advantage going into the inside, because the person on the outside does have an equally strong advantage because they get to carry more speed. And also sets them up perfectly for the second apex, turn 2. Ooh, as we see, Robbie Toady goes wide after his tail kicks out.
Yeah, and the BMW also going right through the hairpin. Tires are falling off, you could definitely tell.
Well, looks like there's a little...
After the
bit of
Porsche
a-
went wide, it looks like into the hairpin.
See what happened here.
It just gets wide on the inside
went
too.
on the yeah,
with
that...
a huge hit.
Oh yeah, he was not slowing the car down. Once you get on the grass, especially through a braking zone, your car's not going to slow down. There's a passenger at that point.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
That was Robbie
Nothing.
Toddy and the other Mustang just, caught in a bad spot. Not much you can do about that. Gets it back on track, but he's well down the grid now. See some more pitters coming in. Yeah, Jack Sullivan coming in.
Yep.
One of our front-running Mustangs.
I wonder if everyone's reacting to Velasquez and Rodriguez. Or
Yeah, they
if they're
kind of
actually...
kicked us off.
Yeah.
Where are they now?
But I guess 38 minutes is a lot more generous than 43 minutes. It's a whole 5 minutes. Margin.
Yeah. You won't really see that on the back end, that extra 5 minutes, but it's more so the delta between the people, Velasquez, who pitted early and the people who pit late, at right at the 30-minute mark, or even going for a bit of the overcut at the 25-minute mark. I, for one, I sort of lean more towards pitting at 35 mark. Gives you the benefit of the overcut or the undercut, but not so much the ill effects at the end of the stint.
If you are stuck in traffic, an undercut would be preferable, but the risk of running an undercut is that you rejoin in traffic with the slower cars in the field, and you're not going to have the track position over them.
Well, that's true. Yeah. It all kind of depends on your situation. If you can, see your relative and see about how much. I think it's about 60 seconds here for a full pit stop and run down the pits. If you can see where that puts you out, if you got a bit of space, it's definitely worth it. Gets you out of the traffic.
This is one weird quirk that I struggled with on this track, is that the pit lane is downhill, so you have to brake a bit earlier than you'd normally do when you're braking, and it's super easy to miss your pit box, and you get the extra time for just sitting in the pits waiting for the mechanics to jack your car up.
Yeah, that's right. And some of the pits, they even have a bit of a bump as you get into the box, and that can really throw you off, especially if you're diving into the pits on the limit of grip. It's just another complexity to add to your full race, and it's really easy to lose some time in the pits. You know, a 10th on track is worth a lot less than a 10th in the pits.
Oh, definitely. You can, like, you're not gonna make up 3 seconds in raw pace unless you really push it, but you can easily lose or make 3 seconds of pace in the pits.
That's right, yeah. Now with 36 minutes to go, we're seeing a lot more people come into the pits. Oh, is that... I think that was an Aston of Chris Whitting Jr. I think he's a lap down now. He's making way for the leaders ahead.
Yeah, you have quite the battle here between Kectezovic and Rigatoni.
Yeah, they've been battling like crazy for the last couple laps.
Oh.
Porsche right up behind the Mustang. There's it's hard to follow a car around here that closely for that long. There's a bit of aero wash, especially to go through some of the high-speed corners like 130R and some of these corners like the exit of Spoon and the Dunlap curve where there's, you know, at the limit of grip, you really have to be easy on the throttle. And it's hard to do when there's a car in front of you. As we see actually a bit of that aero wash come into effect there as Kectezovic goes a bit wide through 130R. That's all well and good as long as it doesn't get a track cut.
Yeah, the exit's also bumpy in 130R, so your car is not only going to be offline, but it's also going to be going over a bump, which is going to be super difficult to control.
It's like Rife has gone into the pits, so your race leader is getting his pit stop done now at 35.
Ooh, Maxwell just makes a send. Trust Lee. Oh, as Lee gets shoved into the pit, I guess he's just going in. Oh god, you got a pit lane block.
Oh no.
Not again.
Oh no.
He looks like he managed to get it pointed back forward, but you gotta feel for, I think that's Moffitt behind him, who just got caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. It was a ton of time coming into the pit entry there.
That was interesting.
To watch Rife coming out the pits. Looks like he just got his new tires equipped, where he comes out relative to Velasquez. Velasquez, who got early pit, right? He came in and got a service in way early, but he's been setting purple laps ever since.
Well, we'll see. That's Rife coming out of the pit, and
oh yeah, he's well ahead. Velasquez still in the backstretch. Okay, maybe not. Talking low to baloney. Looks like Sutherland is the one who's the front runners or the pitters. He's just coming onto the front stretch now, so Rife's got still a heck of a lead for the front runners.
Yeah, but I believe Sutherland was also battling. So I guess a bit more of a fair comparison would be what Panzer Rigatoni and I already forgot who was
Kamal.
yeah.
Side by side up here.
Well, not Kectezovic, the other Mustang of Nick Swaff.
Oh, that's right. He was one of the front runners. Yeah, and he's currently our leader. Which Rigatoni been battling with Kamal for so long that's not going to help his overall relative time to Rife. They were 2x2 through Spoon. Still keeps the position. Kectezovic right behind him, but Logain's now gained a ton of time on him as they both now, Rigatoni and Kamal, come into the pits.
Oh, it'll be interesting to see who comes out ahead.
It will be. We'll check back in with them in a minute.
To see Yarn gets a better run out of Spoon than the Porsche in front of him. He's gonna have a run going into 130R. Is he gonna stay committed? That's the question. As the Porsche just closes in. Oh, he tries to look, but he does not, and he just loses a huge. He just lost a lot of time to the Porsche in front.
Honestly, Yarin does well just to keep the car underneath him there. That was pretty tight corners cutting across the nose of the Ferrari like that. Going into 130R, it's risky enough, and then when you have that much aero wash in front of you, it's tough.
And especially that the 488 hates that bump. So, yeah. He did take it a lot more conservatively after the Porsche cuts across.
And Rigatoni is leaving the pit ahead of Kectezovic. Come on.
Was able to find a bit of time there in the pits as Kectezovic came in right behind him, and now there's a
That was a gap.
A 6-second gap?
Sutherland
looks like
actually
Hush.
flipped in there.
Yeah, Kaczmarzyk had a terrible pit stop, actually. Maybe fixing a bit of damage or something, but that's not ideal at all. Rife, though, our front runner going into the pit cycle, was still our front runner, now by 11 seconds to Panzo, who's the relative P2. Suave, still up there in P1, yet to get his service done, and he's the one to watch now. Looks like he's diving into the pits.
Andrew Rife is only 4.5 seconds behind the cars which have not pitted, so I wonder if he's going to catch up with them if they don't pit at the end of this lap, which probably makes sense because we are entering the halfway point of the race in a minute now.
Yeah, these varying strategies are about to collide. Speaking of collide, those two pink Porsches almost went to the back of each other.
Looks like Nick Suave has opted to pit now.
What a move. Kevin Happyface dives in front of the other Porsche, or the Aston Martin there, Chris Whitting Jr., as he tries to find his pit entry. That's not ideal for either one of them. He does dive into the pit stops, but Chris Whitting Jr. probably had to dive on the brakes to make sure he didn't run into the back of that Porsche. That was a high-risk maneuver for sure.
I wonder if the stewards are going to take a look at that pit entry. He did not cross the white line, but he did cut across traffic. I must preface that Maxwell has been super aggressive with his moves, especially his sense into the Casio triangle. We already seen 2 amazing sends from him this race.
Looking back at our relative leader now, Rife, remains ahead of Nick Suave there, who came out the pits, about 8 seconds behind Andrew Rife there, who is putting on a clinic right now on how to lead a race. Byron dives to the inside there. Rodriguez leaves the space as Byron makes it look easy.
Does. He really does.
That small space he gave was enough for Byron to just send it around his inside.
That was a good move. I mean, yeah, it's textbook maneuver into turn 1, but obviously that was on the back of respectful driving there from Rodriguez.
Yeah, these two are running in the front. I don't think they want to risk a lot of risk for getting run wide or just going into the barrier, because one thing, it is scary, that part of the track. Also, you don't want to really throw away a position that you have, especially if you're this far up and you're also trying to conserve the tires. But if you did make an undercut, I would prefer to just hold on to the track position just to neutralize the tire advantage. I see Porsche on Porsche violence here, or Porsche and Porsche battling.
Going into the entry of Spoon Curve, the Porsche in front there of Red is going pretty defensive. Pretty well parks on the apex of the exit, but gets the power down nice and early, leaving no room there for Riggs to make a maneuver through Spoon. Good defensive driving there.
Riggs has to slipstream. He is going to be super close behind him going into 130R. As the dirty air pushes him a bit back. But he's not done yet.
Red taking a lot more curves than Riggs is wanting to.
Like Riggs ran a bit deep going into the entry. So he gets really close to him. I don't know if there's enough to get an overlap going into turn 1. Turns out it isn't.
Oh, Riggs gets really loose on the exit of turn 1. So obviously got a service done, but he's on those fresher tires, showing still that the Porsche is on the limit.
It looks like.
I don't know about you. I know I find that when you first put the tires on the Porsche, it takes a few laps until they kind of settle in and work the way you want them to.
Oh, especially the fronts. Now that they're also running lower fuels, the front's going to get even lighter, and they're just going to struggle to put grip in, and they're just going to scrub more. You also see Funk creeping in on this battle here. He is one of the front runners in this championship. He would, if anyone wants to try recovering as much points in this race, it'll be him, considering that he's probably one of the championship favorites going into the third round.
Yeah, I'd say it's a bit of a recovery drive from him as he had some early troubles. Back up to P2 now that the pits have all cycled out. Still with a long way to go. 30 minutes or 26 minutes left. Let's see what he can do. One person I was also wanting to watch was Velasquez there. Saw him pit really, really early. He's back there in P15 in an almighty train. See what he can do there as his tires wear down.
Yeah, it looks 11 to 16. It's just a train.
Yeah. My gosh, is it ever? The entire front stretch is basically bumper to bumper.
And Maxwell's in the pit.
Blinking a bit.
Well, Japan is known for its trains. Especially its high-speed trains.
Yep.
It's a good one. Yeah, it's true. And they're showing that here tonight with the high-speed train.
So, did you just see someone return to garage, or is that someone pitting for tires in the PIP?
I think that was Colton in the Lexus, who's having a bit of connectivity issues as he hops back and forth between the pit lane and the racetrack. That's got to be jarring for anyone following behind him as he's stuck in the middle of this train.
This happened in the Spa Enduro with Curtis Lee. He kept teleporting until he disconnected. I hope we don't see that happen with Colton.
Gosh, yeah, that'd be unfortunate as he, they're basically, I guess, only got 25 minutes left for something like that to happen this late in the race. You put your heart and soul in these races. You don't want technical difficulties to happen.
Yeah, especially because we spend countless hours preparing for. You know what? I'm not going to continue with that.
No.
Know it.
But yeah, this connection is really difficult, especially just to let it all sink in, because you've done everything perfectly. It's just something just out of your control, just failing.
But that happens in real life racing too. Not disconnection, but just things happen.
Yeah, it's just a mechanical DNF.
Exactly.
Well, literally.
Yeah, it's a sim still, right? So you have to simulate it somehow.
Yeah. Yep.
Things like that do happen in real life. Not to the same effect, but something unpredictable like that. Don't want to see it though.
No.
See, Velasquez is getting super close to Cockcroft. He does not send it. Is it me, or does the back of the McLaren look like a watermelon?
I've never really seen it like that, but I don't think you're far off there.
Or it's probably because I haven't had my dinner yet, so I'm just getting hungry, but yeah, just seeing food.
About to do a, what's that test where you look at the ink splotches?
Yeah. I was trying to figure out what camera would show me the back, but that did a pretty good job. So yeah, I can see that.
Little watermelon slices. Yeah.
It seems like Velasquez and Rodriguez's undercut did not repay them much, because it looks like they still came out roughly where they entered pit from.
Yeah. I mean, Rodriguez there is overall silver P2, but he's just 11th on the grid there. Still a decent result, but not the undercut not doing what I would thought it would do.
Especially if Rodriguez and Velasquez are in contention to get moved up to the D3 Gold, I would try to get as many overall positions as possible.
Yeah, gonna have to save that buffer when that bump does happen, maybe. Tell you what, though, Guzman and this Sullivan battle has been popping off here the last couple laps, and we see them both go 2x2 through the Casio Triangle. They're still side by side going down the front stretch. Sullivan's got the track position. Guzman using every bit of the track. A bit of a crossover. The door is left open.
Yeah, but a lot of tippy tap, but they're all pointed in the right direction.
Still battling.
And they're still.
This is not NASCAR. Stop it.
Yeah, I know. And that took Sullivan back quite far. He's gonna battle back his way back up.
Yeah. Now he's got sand on his tires, but he's still going through the S's.
And somebody else gets pushed out to Rodriguez.
Oh, that was
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez.
Pushed out, yes.
You're shoved into the void, or just the gravel trap is bumpy, and because it spears off in another direction, the track spears off in another direction, and you're only going to go straight. You're just going to get further and further away from the track.
Yeah, the Dunlop curve is not kind to any mistakes.
No.
One little, you're sort of 1 foot too wide there on the curbs, and there's just no recovering from it. You'll be lucky just to keep 2 tires on the track, but usually lose a few positions. I was the benefit of that last night in my race, but hate to see it when it does happen. It's easy enough to do, though. The ideal line is as you get on the powers, use every bit of the track that you can.
Well, I remember nearly running into you back in Season 8 at Dunlop Curve.
Yeah, it's been the host of a few of my misfortunes. Luckily got the better end of it last night.
I have to admit I've had the same issue with that place a couple times. But it seems like now they've got some more elbows out than normal all of a sudden.
Yeah, D3's usually been the poster for clean driving. We've seen a bit of door banging happening tonight. Suzuka, it's hard to pass, so maybe that's how these drivers are getting it done.
I think it is so clean that even after so much bumping around, the drivers are still facing the right way.
Yes, they are. Even if they go off a little bit and they lose a few spots, they are. I think outside of 1 or 2 incidents, everybody's generally pointed the right direction.
Almost as if like, hey, we'll show you how to have rough racing without people dying.
Yeah. Yep.
It's controversy, but with civility. Yeah. These drivers still putting on a show for us. I mean, this train, it's still not let up. This battle for like the top 10 positions here. Pretty much all within a 10.
Yeah, at this point, I think everyone's just either going to start getting super aggressive, if we haven't even seen that already, or just try to force mistakes, because Suzuka is also a physically demanding track from the drivers as well, so you're going to see a couple of mistakes here and there, especially towards the end of the race.
Yeah, definitely. Justin McKechnie, I see you've popped into chat and are no longer on the track. It was a tough race for you as you were mired back down there. Unfortunate night for you, but luckily got a drop race to use. We'll see you back out here next week.
I think you get his name right. It's not phonetically spelled out in the chat.
I've learned. I have the ability to learn. Yeah, you're doing me a solid there last week of changing it up. Yeah, appreciate that.
I have been told by some commentators just to pronounce your name in interesting ways.
Oh yeah.
Like Justin pecked my knee.
I would be interested to see what he thinks of that pronunciation. But nevertheless.
Just getting blinded by the camera angle at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, sorry.
starting at 6 a.m. It's now 6:49.
Yeah.
Still sunrise for these drivers. And that's actually one thing to note, is as you're going out of the X's of the Casio Triangle on the penultimate corner, that shadow, the Ferris wheel, pretty much ruins any sort of reference points you have. It's just a lattice of a framework of it as it just sort of beckons down on that corner. not easy to spot even the curves with all that extra graphics. I wonder if it was a bit of a intentional call there when they set the time.
Yeah,
Just adds to the difficulty.
that corner is super blind, and it gets better once you go down the hill into the first straight. But just trying to break into the corner and just trying to exit it, it is super challenging during the sunrise. And also, Justin approves his new name in the chat, so
Good to hear.
careful what you say. That might become your actual name. So we get to experience what the drivers are seeing as they go down the back straight and into the final corner. So you just get absolutely blinded through the exit. It's even worse if the sun is just rising, just peeking past the horizon.
BMW with his blinker on, Sutherland maybe decides that the battle is no longer worth it. Tires are suffering. He's gonna catch Zovic the inside line going into turn 1. After all that battling, for it to conclude like that's a bit anticlimactic, but probably the smart move.
Now when something's wrong and the BMW uses his blinker.
That's a good one. No, you're just full of the jokes. I love it. I love it. Yeah, BMW using a blinker is a rare sight to see. Oh, as we see a bit of a bump from Maxwell into the back of Levine. Not sure how you messed that up, as the BMW is as bright as can be in that Sour Patch livery.
Maxwell's still not done sending it. He still has more to show. As he says, I think he's gonna try to get past Levine before he even gets Degna by the way he's just been tailing him.
You can see he's kind of setting up for the power alleys, trying to get the runs where he can. BMW going mega defensive though into Degna 1. That's going to be hard to keep on track as he just barely manages. Pretty much puts his car right in the middle of the track with no way around him. Maxwell's going to have to stay behind.
That Porsche has so much grip compared to the BMW, especially in the exits. I wonder if Levine is one of the early stoppers in this race. If I remember, Maxwell was one of the last to stop. So he definitely, and probably has, probably has the tire advantage over the BMW.
Yeah, Levine, he's on his current state of 21 minutes, which puts him pitting at about the 35-minute mark. So not the earliest of the pitters, but notable he did pit a lot earlier than Maxwell, who was one of the last to get his service done. Maxwell with the clear tire advantage.
And trying to get past any car in the Porsche is going to be super difficult, especially a BMW, which is one of the fastest cars in the straight line, as Maxwell just gets a better run over the BMW and just takes the position. I wonder if the BMW made it a bit too easy for him. But that was a really confident and good move from Maxwell.
It's well done.
Yep, absolutely.
And now he's got open track with the tire advantage. He'll be looking to get to the back of Recton there for P20. This is way back up the grid. This is sort of the opposite strategy that we see, a bit of the overcut. It relies on this sort of second stint to get all your moves done. Able to make it work there.
Yeah, this is also the third overtake from Maxwell in the Casio triangle.
DJ Watts right at the back of Guzman there. Guzman, our current leader in the Silver Division. This isn't really his fight, but there's a bit of a train forming. Oh my gosh, there's a parking lot in the end of the hairpin. Go back and see what happened there. That was that was a bit touch and go there. Looks like it was Velasquez there and Cockcroft got a bit tied up.
He's lucky it got hit that second time. It put him facing forward. See, they're so polite, they'll even
Even when they get, spin you around, they'll make sure you're still pointing the right direction at the end of it.
Yep.
Hey,
Somebody's got you.
yeah. Well, this is DC. You'll always end up facing the right way.
Unfortunate sequence of events there for Pat as he was battling with Velasquez for a long time. Still manages the P15 overall though. Still not a bad day.
Yeah. Now we sandwiched between Schwartz and Red though, so might make it a little tough.
I think Cockcroft is gonna stay in his division, so that place did mean a lot for him. I wonder if David Funk is gonna call this his drop race, because he's not where he usually runs.
Yeah, right. He's our currently, if you subtract Riviera, who got promoted as we said earlier, Funk is our points leader. Dropped already is one race if you take that into account, but he's had a string of good runs here with winning his first one and then getting second place the second race.
Ooh, if Martin Riggs gets a drive-through, it's for track limits, as he also runs wide into Degna too. That his race has
sequence there.
Yeah, his race has just disappeared in a span of 2 corners as he returns to the garage and just calls it a night.
Tough night there. Probably picked up a lot of damage as he gets wide at the end of Degna too. Yeah, that'll do it. That'll happen sometimes.
And
BMW goes a bit wide.
Degna 1's also a place to easily pick up warnings, just because you can still run on the AstroTurf, and the AstroTurf isn't going to slow you down, but it is outside of the track limits by the smallest of margins.
Yeah, right. That's where the time is found, but go a bit too wide, and it's also where the time is lost. Just under 10 minutes to go now, as there's still no shortage for battles here on track. This train at around about the P13 down to P18 is still pretty close, even if you want to take into account Recton and Levine there, down to P21. One mistake and you could fall 10 or so positions. Puts a lot of pressure on these drivers to end the race off well.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm gonna keep an eye on Velasquez's time to other cars, considering he is one of our first stoppers, to see how his tires are. Because he does have a 2-second gap to the car ahead and behind him, or actually 4 seconds to the car behind. I'm curious to see how that gap changes over the next 8 minutes or 10 minutes, to see how the next lap.
Yeah, that gap is going to be crucial to keeping those tires alive for the next 8 minutes. Just so you can run your own pace, you don't have to worry about overdriving it to, defend or, push the car to its absolute limits. Let's see what he can do there. He's now P3 in the silver division, so Colton was able to get in front of him. Guzman up there in P6, putting on a heck of a show, our current leader in the silver division. Speaking of...
Is it me, or does Simon Goriel have a lot of front-end damage on the left front bumper?
Does look like it, right? Yeah, he's been into the back of someone for sure. But who hasn't? There's just been contact all over the place tonight.
Yes, a lot.
He might be the one who set Cockcroft straight.
So then it's good karma contact.
Yeah, he did help a fellow racer out.
Funk, back on that recovery drive, was able to get around, I think it was Recton there. He moves him up to P19. Still on that recovery drive, but able to make moves. He pitted really early.
Recton looks like he's gonna take the position back.
Oh, he's on the inside line. That's a late lunge. There's space left, though. There's still 2x2 on the exit. There's a
Still
bit of
2x2.
contact. They're into the back of each other. That's not going to help their cases. Certainly not the quick way around the S's.
They're still going. They're still facing the right way. In fact, they didn't even lose a position.
Yeah, with yeah, Levine got real close up behind him, not able to find the space to get around him though after they battled. Funk had the move done. Loses it back on the front stretch. Has to try it all again now with 6 minutes to go. Just gonna note Rife up there in our lead spot. Looks like he's actually back in traffic and lost about a second or so just that lap. Getting around the traffic. Still got 8 seconds gap, so I wouldn't say he's in trouble yet, but gotta be careful of that. Suave tracking him down here. With only 6 minutes left to go. Not the time to make a mistake.
No, it looks like his last lap was a 2:02, 2:02.8. So this does definitely look like he lost a lot of time in.
Yeah, Suave
in
with
that
a
lap.
2 minute 8. That's pretty quick here on worn tires.
Yes.
Zach Sullivan gets a drive-through for track limits as well.
Oh.
That's
He was doing
tough.
pretty well.
Yeah, that's Rife's teammate there. And that's our second drive-through of the night. Oh, as we see, I think that's Maxwell and Rodriguez come together there. That'll bring him back, Recton and Funk, that battle we were seeing. That'll bring them back in there and maybe move them up position down the front stretch.
Looks like Recton already got the move done, and Funk is probably going to sit around the outside. Yes, he does.
Around the outside. What a move.
That
A
is
big
the-
squeeze on the second apex. Puts the
That's
power
a-
down early, and yeah, Rodriguez pulls back down.
That's a crazy move. It does look like it's favorable to stay on the outside going into turn 1 and turn 2, or even trying to make the switch back from the outside of turn 1 into the inside of turn 2.
And you see
Yes.
Levine right up Rodriguez now too, so I'm wondering if Rodriguez isn't falling back, losing a lot of time, maybe, well...
The
Levine
Dunlap curve
was.
strike again.
Oh no!
With an almighty collision. That was the underside of a
So,
McLaren there. I think that
Let's
was
see
Andrew.
that again.
That's a tough look. Andrew, nowhere to go.
Oh.
What? Holy crap. Yeah, they're
And
both
that
gonna
was a
teleport
return to
pits.
garage. Yeah. Oh,
That'll
that's
do
a
it.
shame.
Man,
That
oh man, that was the hardest hit I've ever seen in this game. My oh my, that's one for the clips.
Absolutely. That
How much
But-
you can do there.
no, but to happen at 4 minutes left in the race, that'd be frustrating.
Definitely. As we see another drive-through come in, that's 3 overall for the race. Goriel picks up 1. It's all popping off here at the end.
The fatigue is creeping in. Fatigue and the wardings are creeping in.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Actually,
Right
see-
at the back of Maxwell. Goriel comes in out of the pits to get his drive-through at cleared. I did see last night, though, that if you did pick up a drive-through pretty late in the race, you could, in theory, stay out, not technically serve it, and only get a 30-second penalty, which is probably the preferred move if you do put one here within like 3 laps to go. 30 seconds is going to be about half the time you'd lose otherwise if you'd serve it.
That does not sound like it's fair.
No,
I think-
not really. Yeah, it's a bit questionable. But hey, you know, they're speed coupons for a reason. Might as well use them to their fullest extent, even when you try to serve them.
Yeah, my friend calls them opportunities.
That's one way for him, yeah, definitely.
But I think if you do abuse it, you will get penalized, and it is something that you can get penalized for. And especially if it leads into an overtake immediately.
Yeah, right. Yeah, if you get a little bit wide on the track limits. I saw that last night too. The same person that didn't serve their penalty, got their final track cut off of going wide in Degna 2, which did not pick up any time. It was a bit of an ill-fated penalty regardless. So, they go too wide. DJ Watson, I think that's Guzman. Guzman just barely hanging on the outside at 130R. That's tough.
Watson's got almost out as he runs into Guzman.
A bit of a half spin for Guzman there. Bentley, a bit of a boat on the inside of the chicane. We'll give the position back. That's respectful driving, but they both lose time. Luckily, they had the time to lose, as Colton in the Lexus was pretty far back.
So, in this whole race, we've seen one catastrophic dying death, but other than that, every other incident was like this.
Otherwise,
people still
clean.
face the right way.
That's right.
It was clean carnage.
Clean carnage. Patented. Call it. That's what it is. D3's champions of clean carnage. Sullivan does come down to service drive-through, so that'll move him down the grid. Only 1 minute to go. I think we are on the final lap.
Yep.
The pit lane closing. Rife is going into Spoon Curve. We may actually have one more lap. It'll be close to see where Rife crosses the line at. It's got 8 seconds gap to Suave. He could, in theory, slow down and not force these people to do another race. Some of these drivers, like Sutherland, bridled back in these battles. I'm sure would like this race to end as soon as possible.
Yeah, it's like you Sutherland and yes, they're battling away back there. Oof.
Yeah, Sutherland got a little bit squirrely on the exit there of the Degnas and manages to keep it underneath them, but we'll lose the 2 positions.
I wonder how many cars did not fuel for an extra lap. Because that might be in problem if Rife just crosses the line with time to spare and does an extra lap.
Yep.
7 seconds to go. These drivers got one more lap now to either make their moves or defend like it's like their life depends on it. Looking at you, Guzman. Watts is really trying to get that move done.
Guzman and Watts fighting. You've got Velasquez, Sutherland behind Ian fighting. You Reds looking up the back of Cockcraft fighting for P13. Even down
Watts going side by side.
They were so squirrely coming out of the final corner.
My oh my. I think that will give Watts the position now officially, as Guzman's barely hanging on to those tires.
They're trying. He's not
deep on the brakes.
Giving it up.
You can see the different lines as both of these drivers struggle for grip. They're big boats of a cars, and you can see that weight playing a part as they all are a bit squirrely through the power zones, trying to get the power down. Mustang's still sliding. I think he had a bit of a 4-wheel drift going down through the Dunlap curve.
Yeah, I think these guys are giving everything left in the car. And the race is it's not over till they cross the line, so anything can happen. You may even see a drive-through. I guess that is probably a commentator's case.
Yep. And back in P21, Beek took from Whitting Jr. a little bit ago. So they're still moving around.
This battle's all up and down the grid.
Yeah, it looks like Watts has a bit of a lead on Guzman now. He's not getting that back.
Guzman's now just got to do well to keep in front of the Lexus there of Colton. Rife now out of the final corner in celebratory cross the line, celebratory spins, smashes into the wall. That's well done race from Andrew Rife though.
He's having fun, I think. Yes.
You gotta say he's having a good time.
Oh, that's a nice shot there that you got. It was right in front of the camera. Beautiful.
It's committing Carson Coffee.
Side. The Mustang looks like barely stays ahead of Kamal there. Panzer Rigatoni comes across the line P4 with Ketsuzovic there in P5.
We've got Maxwell and Red really fighting right to the last.
Rector not too far behind either.
Oh, no!
Not in the final quarter!
No!
And that's the unfortunate part of that. get into the battle there at the end, and now he's going to be down a ton of positions at the last minute. That's tough. We're still seeing some battles as Curtis Lee goes deep through the Casio Triangle. Comes to almost a complete stop. We'll get the positions
What
back.
is this mess? Look at that. Oh, okay.
It was all chaos. Oh my goodness.
That's a lot of chaos. But wait.
No one died.
Wrong track layout there.
Controlled chaos.
Yeah, control chaos. No one died. Clean carnage.
Wow. There you have it. Final drivers are coming across the line now.
Yes, they are.
I think that should just about do it.
This
Some
race
of 'em
absolutely
good race.
delivered.
Yeah. Battles all up and down the grid.
And,
With Andrew Rife coming across the stripe in your P1, and I think that gives Guzman, he was battled with Watts the entire time. That'll give him a silver division win.
and everybody is now officially across the line.
What a race, huh? Yeah, Suzuka delivers, D3 delivers again.
Absolutely.
I think this race was probably one of the cleanest races we had this week. Despite all the banging that the door banging has been done, it was a pretty clean race, and we saw a lot of amazing battles.
That's right. The bar was fairly low. There was some carnage in the other divisions, but D3 showing how to get it done cleanly.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
impressive.
I don't think we're gonna see people spamming the copy pasta at the in the D3 chat.
Which is
No.
good. Yeah, we see enough of that, in other divisions. So D3, happy to see a nice clean race. But still, lots of passing going on. Suzuka not known for being able to pass, but these drivers able to still get it done. A bit of door bang in there here and there. Overall, I think we did see that one massive crash.
Yes.
If you're gonna go out, at least make it count. And that was one heck of a crash. Real testament to these car safety. Both of those drivers able to get home safe. Bit scrambled up, I'm sure, but no. Wow, that was one for the record books, though.
That reminds me of that accident Jack Aitken suffered in the 24 Hours of Spa, where he just came out. He actually walked out of the car, despite his nothing left but the survival cell. So these cars are incredibly strong, and probably a bit too strong in the ACC. You see barely any bodywork damage.
That's right.
But that's probably licensing, and it's a video game.
Yeah, I can't go out there and munch up these cars too much. So got to make it look presentable. I'm trying to see if we can't grab our race winners in a top 3. See if they can pop down in the chat. Not seeing too many
I don't see him in
people.
there yet.
Everyone
He's
kind of
probably-
keeping to themselves, doing their own debriefs, maybe in their own chats. Let's see.
Just pinged arrived to join the VC for the interview.
Yeah, obviously Rife, one of our main announcers here in SRA. He's got the perms. He can put himself in the broadcaster's booth if he wants.
He can,
Yeah.
he can. But I guess while he's doing whatever he's doing, we could always grab a P2 or P3 a while
Yeah, I
and let
see
him soak in his
Nico-
glory.
Nico Suave. He finished P2 overall. Let's grab him.
Yeah.
Hey, Nico. This is Landon, Steph, and Arjun in the booth. You got us?
Hey,
Hey.
how's it going?
Pretty good, yeah. How's it going for you? P2 and overall, it's a pretty solid race.
Yeah, I was quite surprised to pick up 4 positions there on lap 3, but yeah, it was after that it was just a boring race chasing Andrew.
Yeah, he was blitzing the field there. He, ended up 7 seconds ahead, but you were kind of catching him towards the end there. Did you think you had anything for him?
I think we were putting in consistent laps, and I think him starting first and having that advantage just to check out probably was the difference. But I don't think I helped myself any staying out an extra lap on the pit stop. There was a little bit of a incident when I was planning to come in and took another lap. Had an awkward moment with the blue flag into turn one, and yeah, just lost some more time. But I don't think I had the pace to really close that gap at the end anyway.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, hey,
So
the Mustang looked pretty strong though.
yeah, I mean it was fun. I don't know if you guys caught the pass I had on, I think it was lap 3 maybe. So being able to just pull that pull or chase down the M4 down the front straight coming out of the chicane there, it was definitely pretty nice. I'm not used to being in cars with that straight line speed.
Yeah, it looked like a good time. You're
Yeah.
P10 in the points right, with a solid finish tonight. Should bump you up quite a bit. How do you rate your season, or how do you rate your chances for a season championship?
I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. I don't know how the drop rounds are going to play out. Taking I think 31st or whatever after being in third in the first week probably hurts me a little bit. Was hoping I could use that or have that in hand going into Nords, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, fair enough. Oh, cool. Well, I'll let you get back to it. Congrats again on the solid P2 position. Excited to see what you can do next week there at Spa.
Yeah, we'll see. Spa's not one of my favorite tracks, but we'll see.
Well, I just got done doing an endurance race in the Mustang there, and I gotta say, it does feel pretty nice. The long straights, it's pretty favorable around there. Just make sure you can keep it straight through Rouge, and you'll be all right.
Yeah, I think the last time I did a race at Spa was in the 296, and I want to say I just felt like you were going to die every time you went up a Rouge.
Yep, that'll happen. Mustang's a bit better than that. Depends how the setup is, obviously, but looking for good things from you there.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course. Have a good night. Good stuff there.
And I saw that our race leader used his permissions to hop on in a while, so he's patiently waiting.
Andrew Rife.
I did.
Welcome to the booth.
Yes, thank you. I'm so unused to being here. This is a completely new experience for me. I've never been on a stream before.
From the other night. Yeah. What do you mean, buddy? Congrats on you won. Congrats on the win, man. How does it feel after honestly a pretty tough start of the season? This one's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, no, big win. I mean, we were looking at a potential podium in Barcelona. It would have been a very strong start, and ended up getting a little bit sideways a couple of times with a couple of drivers. But and then Imola was a nightmare hellscape, basically. We don't like Italy around here. We're I guess this is just kind of my showcasing my preference for Japanese culture over the European side. So. No, Suzuka was incredibly strong for me back in Season 9 when we first raced it. I managed to take the dub there, although it was a little bit closer with K fighting me, obviously. Division 1 K, now he's so much faster than I am. But this was the first, I think, this was the first track that I actually did my patent pending training regimen for. I did 2-3 practice sessions, and then I was able to get on half an hour before the race started, throw down a couple of laps, and I honestly was not satisfied with my qualifying time, but it ended up being that apparently nobody was probably satisfied with their qualifying time because I was on pole somehow. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, your time trial, you were the fastest in those practice servers with a sub 2 minute lap. Not able to quite get there in the quali sessions, but that's okay. It was still good enough for the pole, and I mean, you just pulled away. Was it just something in the setup tonight, or did you just feel like you were what'd you feel like behind the wheel? Just dominant performance there.
I think a lot of it I can attribute to the race start. P2, I don't remember. I don't know how to pronounce their name. I also don't happen to remember their name, just off the top of my head, like the letters that are in it. But P2 came under quick attack by Panzo, and I knew Panzo was fast. If they had gotten away and Panzo was in front in P2, then it might have been a different story. But all the pressure was alleviated fairly early on. Really freed me up to drive my line, and I would also attribute a lot of my pace to watching the D1 drivers, because I think I was able to save a lot of time in Degna 1 with a little bit of later braking. So shouts to Michael Menning. I watched a little bit of that, and some of my pace came out of there. But it's just a track that I was exceptionally strong at. I don't think that any of the D3 drivers are particularly slow, but it did seem like it was a little bit rough in terms of conditions, especially in qualifying. I'm not surprised that the Silvers were not able to break into the low 2 minute mark.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, with it being fast for their session, they really only had one hot lap to make sure to get it done. Bit of an advantage towards the gold drivers there. There was a bit of a split, but you were obviously able to come away as the winner there in both sessions, putting on a clinic with the pole fastest lap and obviously the win. Gotta feel pretty good. Nice points haul, obviously the best you can do. How do you like your chances at Spa?
Spa is a challenging one. You were just talking a little bit about it in the Mustang. The Lexus certainly wanted to kill me when I was running it.
For the endurance race, yeah.
Yeah, I've got to put in some practice. I'll tell you that for free.
You need to stage a comeback after the 24-hour race where you guys had to back out due to unforeseen circumstances. You guys are going to come back even stronger.
Yeah, no, you are correct on that front. We'll see what happens. Do I feel particularly confident about it? I wouldn't say so, but the Lexus did kind of show me a little bit of pace that I didn't know that I had on the track, so we'll just have to wait and see how the practice sessions go.
Yeah, certainly had the at least seat time, not so much in the Mustang, but just on the track for that endurance race. Hopefully not so changing conditions as much as we saw in that race. Should be a bit more standard race as we're used to here at SRA. But looking forward to it. You're should be pretty well set up here for the season now. That drop race, taking into account Imola. I mean, that puts you 2 green positions, in the overview is your 60 some odd points there first. How do you like your chances at the overall championship now that some of the fast guys got promoted?
I'm still trying to keep my expectations limited. I know that Rivera was incredibly quick. I honestly do feel like even with Rivera getting promoted, I might have been able to challenge for a win today just because of how strong I was at Suzuka overall. I was able to find the pace pretty quickly, but I think that he was the big one, getting promoted out. I think he was fairly fast overall. It seems like all of the McLaren drivers are the incredibly fast ones. So all credit to him. I think he's going to find some great success in Division 2.
Yeah, certainly had the pace for it. Maybe I'm sure he's not happy to see it, but I mean, that promoted some more competitive racing here tonight. D3 always putting on a show. And I'm excited to see what you can do with the rest of the season. Now that you've got on a clear run of form, and it seems like you got your practice regiment down. Your patent-pending maneuvers.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. Spa remains to be seen, but I don't think that I'm going to have a 10-second gap to the rest of the field in the any of the races from here on out. I think Spa is a good one. Suzuka is just my track though, so good racing for everybody tonight. Jack Sullivan didn't exactly have the greatest of races, but that's the way it goes sometimes.
We always see you get promoted to D2, possibly, like we saw Lucinio Riviera get last week.
Frankly, I would not be particularly opposed to that. I did have a little bit more time, I think, in my hot stint quali that I could have put down if I wanted to try and push and get into D2, but I also didn't want to out-qualify myself for how much I was going to practice this season. It just so happened that this was a track that I practiced the normal amount for. So you might not see this same kind of form from here on out. That's why I was kind of mentioning that.
It's good to know, yeah. No more Japanese tracks on the calendar.
Unfortunate. Yep.
Yeah. Back to the European circuit in that one, obviously, or a couple of in the Americas to round off the season. Yeah.
Massive shame that. So from here on, I'm going to be DNSing every race. I'm retiring from SRA, and on a high note, all that goodness.
Well, if you're gonna go out, might as well go on a bang with the full rack of points there, 111 points. But hopefully, with all luck on your side, that doesn't happen. We'll see though.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on, guys. I'm going to go out and head out, and thanks
have a good night. Congrats again.
The broadcast. Thank you.
And
that was our winner, Andrew Reif there.
I think we have P3 Panzo Rigatoni.
Let's get Panzo. He was Logain was our P3 finisher. I don't see him, but we can grab Panzo. I'd like to hear from him.
Yeah.
Finishing P4 with a solid performance here. Hey, Panzo. No. This is Landon, Steph, and Arjun in the booth. You got us?
Yes. What's going on, guys?
Love that reaction. I think I'm by surprise.
Yoinked.
Yeah.
Wanted to know how that race was for you. You finished P4. You qualified P3. But you were battling the entire race, it seemed.
Yeah, I was dripping sweat, honestly. It was so insane.
Yeah, I'm sure. How did you like the Mustang around here? Was it pretty tricky?
Yeah, full fuel. It felt really tough through the S's for me. I couldn't get race pace down. Obviously it's doable because Andrew Reif was on another level tonight.
Yeah, you put on a show out there. It sounds
Oh,
like he
yeah.
had a good teacher there with Michael Benning, kind of getting some cues from him.
Oh, so that's the trick. Okay.
Yeah, evidently.
Yeah. Well, he put on a clinic. It was awesome to see.
Yeah, no joke.
Yeah, it's just all race long, like you said, it was just the cars catching back up to me and just trying to hold my position. But I think I even got Logain got the overcut on me, and I thought I would have him with the
end.
with the warmer tires. I thought I'd be able to catch him, but he just walked away from me too. It was a good race overall, though. Can't complain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you did really well this week.
Yeah, I was so upset that Andrew took the P1 off the leaderboards from me. I was calling him out in chat. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Not by too much though. But yeah, you got one of the few to get the sub 2 minute mark. Not able to get it done in the quali session, right? But I mean, obviously had the pace for him. Put up a challenge to Andrew, at least in the practice servers.
Yes, I was trying my best. Yeah, and even with the battling the Porsche, the first few laps was fun. But yeah, it's overall D3 it's a big step up. I know now being consistent during the race is going to be really crucial.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, this one you got to feel pretty good about this one after a tough couple of first races, right?
Yeah, learning the Mustang and all the little quirks. So
you're getting comfortable with it. Obviously, the results are shown for itself.
I hope it just
still a long
continues.
season.
Yes, yeah. But Suzuka was one of my favorite tracks, so I had that going for me tonight.
Well, it's a good sign. Suzuka's not easy one. It's more of a driver's circuit, I like to think of it. So if you're able to go fast around there, I think it bodes well for the rest of the season.
Thank you. I hope so. Thank you.
Good.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
is there anyone you want to shout out?
Yeah, just shout out to my teammates, OBDA and GR, and obviously Ian Byron. He's found pace right away from the Mustang. It's been awesome. He's been trying to help me out too. So it's been going good. Hopefully we can be contenders in the team series.
Yeah, both y'all rise up to the top here at the end there. And pretty good shout for team standings, I'd say. You're P3 right now, but with solid results like this, I think you're one of the favorites.
Yeah, we just gotta be consistent. That's the name of the game.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
And I just want to thank you guys for doing what you guys do every week. It's awesome. I love watching the streams back.
Good.
Pleasure.
Good.
Yeah. It doesn't go unnoticed.
Aw.
Nice. Yeah, y'all put on a show, so happy to do it.
Oh, thank you.
Excited to see you next week there at Spa. I'll let you get back to it though.
Yeah, and I think it's in the wet if I'm not mistaken.
You know,
I think it's in the dry. Coda's
Was it dry? Oh, Coda's the wet. Okay, yeah.
You scared me there. I was thinking Spa in the wet.
We did wet Spa last week.
It's true, and last season. So
last season, that's what it was. Yes.
Yeah, got that out the way.
Yeah. All right, guys.
I'll let you get back to it. Have a good night. Congrats.
You too. Yeah. Good night, guys.
Take care.
That was Panzer Rigatoni, our P4 finisher. A pretty solid night for him, and looking for more great things coming out of that camp here in the season. Overall, I would say a pretty solid race here at Suzuka. Tough track altogether. We saw a few mistakes for some drivers, but also some surprise finishers there at the top. I think it mixes up quite a bit. You know, some of our favorites we saw have some troubles. That means it's all to play for the rest of the season. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Now, there's one thing we almost forgot, and that would be a shout out for our sponsors. Thank you to the SRA sponsors and title sponsors for supporting us here at SRA, as well as support from Documise, modern business solution for product management. Go to documise.com to learn more today. And support from Retro Saga, a North American-based gaming company that provides accessories for your favorite classic systems, including Nintendo, Sega, PlayStation, and much more. Enhance your retro gaming experience today at retrosaga.ca. And a thank you to our affiliates Track Racer for experiencing redefined gaming with Track Racer's high-quality sim rigs and accessories. Use code SRATE at checkout to support us. Armamentario, the toolbox for ACC that will enhance your chance to win. Enjoy fully customizable and enhanced HUD to change the way you experience ACC. AT3D Sim Shop. Upgrade your sim racing experience with premium 3D printed accessories. Featuring precision crafted magnetic shifters, sleek cable management solutions, versatile stream deck mounts, and immersive dashboard displays. Their innovative designs enhance performance and style. Elevate every lap with top-tier quality and craftsmanship at at3d.net. And Go Setups, premium esports setups for everyone. Use the affiliate link on our Discord and take your drive to the next level. And last but not least, Castle and Cauldron, home-based crafting business specializing in handmade Harry Potter, Fantastic Beasts, and Fairy World collectibles, magic wands, potions, mini dioramas, wall decor, costumery, cosplay, and much more. Castle and Cauldron is where crafting meets the magical. Visit facebook.com/Castle Cauldron. And with that, I believe we are done for this week's broadcast of Division 3.
Yeah, it's been a treat. And I'm excited to see you all back here at Spa next week. But for now, bye-bye.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Bye.